Hey guys, it's Jessica and Linda.
Hi guys.
Waiting for people to, I guess, sign on. We'll see if anyone is joining us. No one is watching yet. We can wait. Let's see. I'm going to try to share it from my page while we're doing it. Oh, there we are. Okay. Share. Join us. Mandy. Hi, Mandy.
Hi, Mandy.
Always the first one. Linda's a little nervous, so we could use everyone's support. Hi, Sam.
Hey, Sam.
Let's see. We're just waiting for more people to join, or we can get started. Like I said, Mike was unable to be here today, but he will be back next week. And we have Linda, who is don't be nervous. It's fine. Look at it. It's just Mandy and Sam. Right. So just pretend you're talking to Mandy and Sam.
Okay.
So I guess we're going to talk a little bit about Linda's, experience with the disease of addiction, being a nurse, and then also like why she joined Greater Waltham Recovery Solutions. Hi, Sam.
Sure.
So what made you join our nonprofit and our group and our great team?
Well, addiction has affected my life, both personally and professionally. I've had my own issues with alcohol many years ago, and I've had family members and friends that have lost children to overdose and to alcohol.
To alcohol?
Yeah.
Okay.
At a young age, which was really devastating.
Yeah. And it's hard. You don't realize how many people are touched by the disease of addiction. It's everywhere and anywhere, and there's all different reasons that people are affected by it. Hi, Mike. We miss you. Hi, Debbie.
Hi, Mike. Hi, Debbie.
Okay, so you joined us. So what?
Well, I think too, because like you said, it's everywhere. It's so widespread. It's in every state and every demographic in this country.
Every demographic. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. And,
right.
It's a nationwide and beyond epidemic.
Absolutely.
And anytime you have an epidemic or a health crisis like that, it touches everybody. It's not one person's problem.
No, it's not.
No, and it's not for one person to fix. We all have to.
Yeah, we're doing it, which is what we're doing with Greater Waltham Recovery Solutions.
Right.
We're trying to get the help out there. We're trying to get people. We've been getting people right into treatment. Julie helped someone today that was in another state and needed to get help here for treatment. So just want to reiterate that anyone that needs any kind of help, just reach out to us, no matter what it is. If it's getting into a detox, if it's just need to talk to someone, just reach out to us, and we have the resources to be able to help. So what?
Well, and then as luck would have it, I was out at an event one day in Waltham.
Okay.
And
so you're from Waltham?
I'm from Waltham.
Right.
And I met Debbie.
Debbie Moore.
Yes, one of the co-founders of Waltham Overcoming. And she was telling me about this organization and who they are, what they do. And I just said, I want to help.
Yeah, absolutely.
She invited me to a meeting.
Yeah.
Came to my first meeting.
Which met you.
You were there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it was me, you, Julie, and Richie. When we kind of first started getting started and kind of weren't really sure what direction we were going to go.
Right.
And from there, a couple months ago to here, it's crazy how many people have touched and gotten into treatment.
Absolutely. I think I was so inspired by the commitment and the honesty from all of you, and the real desire to make a difference and help people that, here I am.
Yeah, here you are. And then you also are a nurse by profession.
I am.
Right?
Yes.
And so you've been a nurse for how long?
I've been a nurse for 40 years.
40 years. Okay.
So I have seen a lot.
Yeah.
And things have changed, certainly, over the years. We still have a lot to learn and a lot to teach and a lot to improve.
Right, absolutely.
Sure.
Right.
But yeah, I saw some really lousy stuff when I was a young nurse.
Yeah.
We had a lot of people coming in, young people, old people in emergency rooms, and on the floors. I saw people as well that were really suffering physically, emotionally.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what did we do for them?
Right.
We gave them medication, got them stable, monitored them for a little while, maybe, gave them a visit with the psych person during their short stay.
Right.
And then basically the discharge plan was don't drink, don't use,
and
or
you're
gonna
gone, and you're
die.
off the street.
And that's
right?
it.
It wasn't real treatment there.
It wasn't treatment.
Yeah.
You know, and we didn't do that to our cardiac patients, did we?
Right.
No.
Right.
We didn't
And nurses are a different breed. Like when I used to work at the hospital, like they are rock stars. They really are. They do the brunt of the work, and they, I really, appreciate everything you've done as a nurse.
Oh,
I do. It's just because I just think nurses, like, I hope there's a lot of nurses on here watching who know us, because you guys really, really help. But it just, in the bigger scheme of things, how the stigma has affected how people have been treated, and this is what we're working towards, finally breaking the stigma and having more, people who suffer from addiction be treated differently and get the treatment they deserve.
The sad thing, I think, Jessica, is years ago, medical people, all of us in the field, thought, okay, these people with addiction brought this on themselves.
Right.
They're using up our resources, and basically didn't really care a whole lot.
Yeah.
But to get them stable, no compassion, no support.
Right.
And that we've come a long way. We still have, ways to go, I think. I think after about 10 years or so into my career is when science, being a nurse, I'm all about science, determined that addiction was a disease. It was a brain disease.
Right. It wasn't just someone's choice to go out and drink or use or whatever, or get themselves. What person's going to want to put themselves in the predicament to be in the ER? I don't enjoy going to the hospital. Mm-hmm. Most people don't want to go to the hospital, and that's why, like, it's amazing, to have the perspective that it's a disease, because it is. It's no one chooses this. I didn't choose to suffer from the disease of addiction. I didn't. And I know no one else did. But at this other end, like now being on the other side of it, I'm grateful because I know that I can give back. Mm-hmm. And, someone like yourself that's so compassionate that, look, you want to help. You want to help any way you can. You want to volunteer your time. You want to be a part of Greater Waltham Recovery Solutions and, use your professional and personal knowledge to stop this stigma. Right.
And how do we do that? How do we stop the stigma?
What do you think?
Well, we have to talk about it.
We have to talk. Absolutely. Exactly. These conversations, getting out here on Facebook Live.
Absolutely.
I hope all 15 people are watching, 16 people are watching. It's going to be very exciting. And this is live. Just FYI, my kids, puppy, and boyfriend are all home. So if we get ambushed at any time, I apologize. So Connor was already harassing poor Linda.
Not at all.
But, this is, we need to talk about it. We need to have these conversations. And like you said, all different professions. You're a nurse, right? Mm-hmm. And your perspective of what you have seen and what needs to be changed.
Well, I think considering that overdose is the #1 cause of accidental deaths in America.
Yep.
There's a lot to be done.
Yeah.
Right. We're not there yet, but we have come. And there's so many options now.
Right.
Once I think that this did, when science did determine that any type of addiction is a real brain disease, like heart disease or kidney disease, then the conversation started, the research started, the studies, the programs. And so we are a lot further along than we were 30 years ago.
Right.
But
we still need, and we need everyone's help out there too. Like if you guys have any questions for us, we do have a nurse with us that questions about addiction, questions or suggestions of what you think we should talk about, answers, whatever you want us to do. Hi, Pat. Because there's all different professions that we need to work together. Like we work with the drug courts, we work with the police departments. The police are huge in battling this. Like Newton Police has really been great in helping, work with us and really stop the stigma, because people don't want to believe that it's an area. It's like Newton, Waltham, and Watertown. Yeah. And like I keep talking about, someone from Newton overdosed a month ago, and it's happening. It's continuously happening. Like I keep seeing, like, it's overdose after overdose. It's no town or suburb is safe from this.
It doesn't matter who you are or where you're from.
Right. And
that's for sure.
And that's what we need to talk about, that it hits every aspect and all different types of people. And we just need to get out here, which is what we're trying to do. Right.
Absolutely. Yes.
What else did you want to talk about?
Well, I think, it's a shame that the insurance companies are on board.
Yeah.
As good as they could be.
Hi, Heather. Just want to say hi to Heather.
they determine who gets what and for
Right.
how long.
The insurance companies, which Mike is the saint that deals with insurance companies and all that stuff. But that's another thing too. Like, if someone needs help out there, it doesn't matter what insurance you have. You have Mass Health, you have Tufts, you have Cigna, you have no insurance. If someone needs help, just please reach out to us, because we've been able to get a good amount of people into treatment, or at least connected with someone on our team. It's really been incredible to watch. That it doesn't matter. Just reach out to us. We're not letting insurance dictate who we do and don't help. Because you see it, if you have a good insurance, you get to go here. If you have a bad insurance, you get to go here. And that's not what Greater Waltham Recovery Solutions is about. It's all about just getting people connected with the treatment they need, regardless of insurance.
And I've seen that. I've seen the conversations that you all are having on texts and emails. Somebody's in trouble and they jump in.
They're
Absolutely.
on board. Like it's incredible. Just the fact that, Julie, our founder, someone reached out to her. Someone was in California and needed help getting home. And she was able to get the person home from California back to Massachusetts to get them into treatment. And this is what we're talking about. And again, I'm going to keep stressing, these are all free services. We're not getting paid for this. This is just our contribution. Like I keep saying, I'm someone who suffers from the disease of addiction. My life has been deeply affected by it. Your life has been deeply affected by it. And we're doing this because we want to help and we want to stop the stigma. And we're open to anyone's suggestions on there. Facebook friends, whoever, if you haven't talked to us in forever, like 5 years, 10 years, it would be awkward. I don't care. Just reach out to us. If you know someone who needs help.
There is help available.
There is help out there. And just whatever you think is the best way to do something. Or just you want to just have a conversation with us. Like, oh, I don't agree with you guys talking about this. Or I don't agree with you talking about that. Or we want you to talk about this.
That would be very helpful. Yeah.
That would be really helpful. We really... Mike's giving us stars. We miss you. But
I want to say, Jessica, you mentioned that we're volunteers and all the services are free, and that is very true. But the reality is we do need money.
Right, we
do need money to keep things going, to offer scholarships for treatment.
Yes.
And, just for the overheads. And so if anybody is able to contribute, to make a donation, that would certainly be welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we're gonna, I know I keep saying that on every video, but we are going to eventually get to figure out having a donate button so people can donate if you want to. And like I said, we're volunteering, and the money would go to get people into treatment. Like the person today in California, they needed just money for a plane ticket to get back here. And we were able to find like I keep stressing, and I know I'm repetitive and I'm sorry, but I'm going to keep repeating it. That it's, we have these resources that we were able to get someone a flight from California back to Massachusetts because Julie was connected with another person that Mandy knew, that so-and-so knew. Our team just has so much information, and just all these, there's so many different programs out there that we work with and that other people know about that can just help fight this, right?
And if we don't know, we will find an answer.
Exactly. Do you guys have any questions for us? Julie said, go to your city council. There's legislator that are for 30-day continuum of care. Call your city council. I don't really know what you mean by that. Sorry. Hi, Callie, my cousin Callie. So do you have anything else that you think that, talk about as you being a nurse, or other reasons why you're so passionate about this? Or, it's I know it's a lot.
I think for the same reasons that all of you are,
right.
Experience, loss, wanting to make a difference and to help people, to give back.
Right, to give back. Because we were just talking before this, about loss and losing people to an overdose or losing people to this disease. And it's crazy that we think when we're using that we're so invincible. And even alcohol. We just talked about someone earlier that
died at a young age.
Died at 31 from alcoholism. So alcohol can be a drug. That's not saying that no one can drink, because some people can just drink, right? Some people can have a glass of wine or a couple beers and be fine. But when you're using the alcohol to numb your feelings and to get out of your own self, and I once heard someone say that, how do you decipher if you're an addict or not, or an alcoholic? It's when it's affecting your life negatively. I'm sorry for my voice sounds a little hoarse. I sound ridiculous. This is not my real voice.
it affects you negatively in so many ways, and you continue to do it.
Right.
Because
Right.
you want to feel normal.
You want to feel normal. You want to feel just outside yourself. Like, I know that's why I used. It's just always because I didn't want to feel what I was feeling. Like, I always, even growing up, like, just didn't feel like I fit in. I felt out of place. Like, I had anxiety, and, as soon as I was able to put a substance in my body, that's when I finally felt like, okay, I'm myself. I can fit in. I'm this, I'm that. And then it just goes downhill from there, because then you're just numbing it. You're just numbing how you feel, and you're just numbing those feelings.
You are, and it's a brain disease. And once that pleasure center is activated, you go back to it. And that's part of the disease.
Yeah, exactly.
Like eating or anything else that gives you pleasure.
Yeah.
You repeat it.
And so you're someone like myself that feels strongly that addiction is a disease.
Oh, it's science.
Yeah. Like, you don't,
I think it's a disease, but like perhaps coronary artery disease or diabetes, kidney disease, I think there are definitely genetics that play a role.
Absolutely.
Environment and lifestyle.
Yeah.
I mean,
I completely agree.
Yeah, I think I do believe that.
Because my biological father is an alcoholic, and I don't know him because of this disease of addiction. So this, alcoholism has kind of always followed me growing up. But my mother, and no one in my mother's side of the family is really alcoholic. So it's like, that's well, it's not environmental because I didn't grow up in an alcoholic home. But here I had my biological father, who isn't in my life because he's an alcoholic. Okay. So there's like, that shows you that it can be either which way.
And I think it's a combination.
Absolutely.
I do, yeah.
Because you see people that don't have any family members that are alcoholics, and they become alcoholic or they become an addict. And I just think it's that switch, that once your switch goes off, then it's on, and then you can't go backwards unless you recover and you go to meetings and you, or whatever. It doesn't have to be meetings. I'm sorry. All pathways,
right? All
pathways, whether medication assisted treatment, meditation, church, yoga, the gym, whatever, which way. We're not just a one-way program, because we have people that have all different paths. Like I've said this before, what works for me might not work for someone else. I'm a big meeting person, but I'm also a big meditation person, and so it can go.
So your meetings 12-step?
Yeah, 12 I do. I'm a 12-stepper, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
Now,
and some people it works. I mean, it works great for people that it works for.
Exactly.
It's enormous.
Yeah. You
can find a meeting anywhere, anytime.
Yeah. Anywhere, anytime. Like, I go to one every night. Like, you asked me earlier how many meetings you go to, and I go to about 4 to 5 a week. And once you have your flow of whatever it is, whether it's meetings or not, of what you do that makes you feel better. Here we have. So let's see. Good on both of you. More help needs to be available, but being immediately available for someone in the moment in need is the first step. Yeah, there's a lot of.
Hi, Veronica.
Hi, Veronica.
My sister-in-law.
Oh, hi. So, yeah, being immediately available for someone in the moment is the first step, which is what we're trying to do. Like, if someone needs help, they just message us. They just message us.
And that's why the response from Waltham, Greater Waltham Recovery Solutions is so fast, because you only have, a window of time to get them that help.
Exactly. Refuge recovery, Julia. There's a lot of younger kids going into nursing homes and suffer from opioid addiction with brain trauma, and they're not equipped to handle them.
Absolutely, and I've seen it. When I was a young nurse, I'll give an example. I had a 23-year-old young man, beautiful boy, who was intoxicated, and he fell down the stairs and had a head injury, and he ended up on our floor in the hospital for about a month. And his dad sat by his bed every day.
He 23 years old.
23, and he was barely responsive. He could blink and those sort of things once in a while. And then he ended up being transferred to a nursing home from falling down the stairs drunk.
23 years old.
23 years old. He went to hang his coat up, I guess, on the stairs is what I remember, and he went down. But he ended up in a nursing home, and it was really sad because nursing homes are not equipped at all.
See, I don't know anything about that young kids now are getting into nursing homes because of opioids or other drugs. I had no idea about that. So you learn something new every day.
Right.
Just because I'm on here doesn't mean that I know it all. I barely know anything. I'm just doing my contribution and
constantly learning. We're
constantly learning. And that's that right there. We talk about it. We need to talk about things like that. So that people are aware that young kids are going into nursing homes because of this disease. Like, how sad is that? Like, our entire generation is just, gone. And there's help out there. Like, you don't need to keep using. You don't need to use one last time. Like, you really don't. You don't. There's a better way of life out there. And
absolutely, there's so many options. Like
right.
You talked about the pathways. I don't know if we want to just mention more of them, of the programs that are available, in addition to the 12-step and the churches and yoga and meditation. I mean, there's writing therapy, music
music therapy, art therapy is a big one.
Absolutely. There's Women for Sobriety to celebrate recovery.
Sober Mommies is a good one that, for any mothers, because that was a big thing with me. I had my son at 20. I was really young and in the grips of my addiction. And I wish I had known about all the different communities there are. Like Sober Mommies, I met them a couple times, that they're mothers in recovery, and they're just there to help one another, because when you have a new baby, you don't always want to get to a meeting or this, and this is just like an online community. So shout out to Sober Mommies.
And that's right. There's a lot of online programs for people struggling with addiction and family members struggling because of addiction. So there's many of the known organizations also have online programs.
Right. And that's the thing too. Like, if you don't know what your pathway is, that's fine. Just reach out to us and we'll just talk to you if you have someone that's struggling or needs help or anything like that. Just reach out to us.
Waltham, Greater Waltham Recovery Solution also has recovery coaches.
Yes.
And they can help guide people to what pathway might be best suited to their needs. Right. So reach out,
because there's always someone who can talk to you and help you. And if you know someone that needs help, just reach out to us. Is there anything else that you wanted to?
I'm reading.
Refuge recovery is another big one. They do more of the, I think it's Buddha meditation stuff.
Yeah.
Refuge recovery. I think that was the one last week that I said Jeffrey Dahmer, but it's Dahmer recovery, I think.
Jeffrey Dahmer?
I don't know. Mike said something last week and it sounded like Jeffrey Dahmer, but I guess it's a new refuge recovery.
Oh, okay.
Julie, correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, Sam, I love Sober Mommies. Those women helped me so much after I had my son. Yeah, they're great.
Wonderful.
They're really
Is that all online?
It's online, but I think they have meetings and stuff too. Like, I have a shirt that says "Keep Calm and Sober Mom."
Nice.
And it's just kind of, at first I felt like weird wearing it, because then I was like, it's Sober Mom, but now I'm proud of my sobriety. I'm proud to be in recovery, and that's a big part of it. We just got to keep talking about it, and people need to hopefully share our videos, watch our videos. Mm-hmm. If we're boring, I apologize. I'll try to be more exciting.
Share our name with others.
Yeah.
Our contact information.
Yeah.
Encourage people to make donations so we can keep growing.
Right. We're gonna as soon as we're gonna have our event on Sunday, September 13th. Again, it's my mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Nancy. And we will be looking for donations and stuff like that. And the donations are all gonna go to either the fundraiser, but then to get people into sober living. That's going to be a big component of it. And then another thing, like I mentioned before, is we're trying to work with different vets to try to get help for vets, because it's a different you got to deal with people who are veterans differently. And so that's something else that we're working towards. I guess in memory of Mike Murphy, just to get that started too. But our main thing is getting people scholarships for sober living. But again, if we have the funds and someone needs help, we're able to do it. Do you think the anonymity of online help has been positive? I think so, because that's actually a really good question.
It is, because some people will say,
that's a really good question, Veronica. Thank you.
Recovering, of trying, so I don't want to be anonymous. But other people, it's important for them to maintain their.
So that's I don't know how because you're right, because then it's like, well, is the anonymity like helping stop the stigma, or is that like working towards the stigma if you're being anonymous?
Well, at some point, I don't think initially, I don't think it matters. I think whatever way will get you into recovery
Absolutely.
and to get help, right?
That was a great answer. Perfect answer.
But down the road, when somebody is clean or sober for a while, perhaps they will be proud and then share. So.
Right, exactly. So I think that's, Veronica, you can tell me what you think. Hi, Mom, again. Thank you for the thumbs up.
Hi, Jessica's mom. So, Veronica, do you have any thoughts on how you feel about your question?
The anonymity, if you think that the online help has been positive or negative. You feel free to, comment on us and what you think about that. That's a really good question because, AA and NA and CA, whatever it is, it's supposed to be anonymous, and you go in there and you're not being anonymous because you're saying your name, right? And you're saying you're there, and so that's a really good question. I'm gonna have to think about that one. I guess if it could be comforting to people to be anonymous so that they're not putting, but at least they're talking about it and making that first step into recovery or whatever way it is.
I think so. I would agree with that
for
sure. Yeah, especially early on.
Right. Early on when you're like I remember, I don't know if Tina's still watching, but I mentioned it before that Tina brought me to one of my first meetings, and I was like, you're so nervous, and you're like, am I going to see? And then I always hear people say like they're nervous to go to meetings because they might see someone they know, but then they're like, well, that person's there too. So, that's a great question. Sam answered it. I think that depends, Veronica. It's hard to remain anonymous when it's attached to your personal profile. But if you're reaching out through private messaging, then I think it stays more anonymous. Good answer. But what else do we have do we have anything else on our list? Julie, if you're watching. Last night they shared that they didn't like it.
They didn't like being anonymous?
I don't know. Julie. My initial thought was yes, but how helpful is it long term? Exactly.
That's exactly.
That's why this is what we need. We need questions from you guys
and feedback.
Feedback. What we should talk about. What we're doing wrong. If you think I'm obnoxious, whatever it is. Like I don't. Facebook. What about Facebook? Hi, Carrie Ann.
Oh, they don't like it on Facebook.
I don't know what Julie's saying. She's saying Facebook, but I don't know what. She's saying, oh, I keep getting these texts, these Amazon texts. I think they're I don't know. That's a different subject. I'm getting spam Amazon text messages saying I have a package that I didn't order anything. Julie, what about Facebook? That was a really good question. And like I said, that's what we need. We need feedback like that, like people asking questions, people getting involved, interacting with us. Like I said, even if I don't know you and haven't talked to you in a long time, or Linda hasn't talked to you in a long time or whatever, if you're a Facebook friend and you have any feedback for us or questions or topics or things that you think that we should talk about, things that you think that would make people more aware of this, please let us know. What's Facebook? It's not anonymous. No, that's what we were saying. We were talking about, Veronica asked a really good question about if she thinks that online being anonymous has helped people. And we had
going on to online meetings and chats and that sort of thing.
And like doing it that way. And like, that's a great topic.
Right. And again, I think it boils down to everybody's different.
Right.
Everybody's recovery is going to take a different course, and whatever works.
Right. Whatever works. Whatever's going to get you
the right thing.
From not using again. And I'm going to keep stressing this. You never have to use or drink again. If you're on here right now watching this and you're struggling, just reach out to us. Like, even if you're not ready to get help, if you just want to say, hey, I'm so-and-so, I saw your video, I don't really know what to do. There's someone there that can help you. Like we said, there's recovery coaches. I'm a recovery coach. Julie's a recovery coach. Kim's a recovery coach. Mandy's a recovery coach. Mike's a recovery coach. Debbie's everyone's so there's many people for you to talk to about any questions you might have about addiction. Even if it's just you want to reach out because you know someone who's suffering, and we've all suffered loss. That's a big one too, is the loss of someone to this disease. And it's hard because you're both great. I'm wondering if it's like coming out has to be the right time for the individual. Right. I think it's like we keep saying, like, it's all pathways. What's one person's pathway might not be another person's pathway. And it's just, as long as they're moving in the right direction and their life is getting better and they're not picking up a drink or a drug, I think that works.
Absolutely. The proof is in the pudding.
The proof is in the pudding.
Right?
Does anyone else have any questions for us?
Let's just bring up while we're waiting for a question. Family support as well.
Yes.
I mean, families can reach out. Please, there's a lot of places that we can refer to, and we are going to be starting our own family group.
Eventually, right. We're going to work on the family support group because it's a family disease.
Absolutely.
I've had people in my family that, when they use it, it's like, and especially trying to stay sober through that, people who are sober and then have a loved one using or whatnot. Employment and stigma. What's important to remain anonymous for that person, then social media should be the route they take. Right. So, but family support is just, I would have loved if, when I was struggling, there was good family support from my mom, because she didn't know what to do with me. She was ready to ship me to Florida. She was like ready to ship me off. And then in my opinion, my higher power stepped in because my mom had brought me to a meeting in Quincy at the Quincy courthouse. And literally the next day, like I was going to use, and for whatever reason, I reached into my bag, and I was actually down the street from my house, and I found a meeting list, and there was a meeting in Watertown. And so I walked to Watertown. I didn't have a car. I had nothing. I literally had nothing. I was at such a rock bottom. And we talk about anonymity, right? I went to this meeting, and I happened to know a guy there who has since died, Steve Foucault, and he knew me from when I worked at Whole Foods when I was 14. And so he connected me, and I met people like Pete and like all different people that was my first route at getting sober.
A fellowship.
And I think that's what it's all about. And I've talked about this before, I think, but Rat Park. Have you ever seen Rat Park? Mm-hmm. So I guess it's a study with rats that I think it's on YouTube or something, but they give rats like they're singular, they're isolated, and they give them like heroin water.
Oh, I've seen them. Some of the research.
Yeah, the research.
Cocaine.
Yeah, but then once they make like a rat community, they stop going to the cocaine or heroin water, because I think that's what anyone uses. It's all about connection, and like I said earlier, like feeling like you don't belong, feeling different than everyone else. And that's how I felt for a long time. Mm-hmm. You just feel different. You feel like you don't fit in. And then once you find a drink or a drug, then it's,
it's smooth and calm. And
it numbs all those insecurities you have. But it's all about connection, and it's all about community. And I believe even just our group, I have famous. What? I don't know, Julie, I don't know what your little code words mean. I have famous Amos cookies. Employment and stigma. Do you guys have any more questions for us? Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, but I see people writing about the anonymity and employment and stigma. And I think that the point we're trying to make is that it's up to the individual, of course. Some people need to remain private for themselves, for their own reasons, and it doesn't matter what they are if it works for them. Maybe they'll reach out later, but I don't think we're talking about so much social media as we are online like sober mommy stuff. Yeah.
So Lori, she said she recently sectioned her son, but then Section 12 by the hospital. He was placed AF and JP. He told me yesterday to stop sectioning him. He will stop on his own when he is ready. How do I as a parent do this? Lori, if you want to reach out to us, and we can get you connected, and if you even want someone to talk to your son, we're more than happy to do that as well. A lot of us have sober time, and those who are addicts, have sober time. And Rat Park, it's famous. Yeah. So Lori, please reach out to us. That's a really good question. How do when your son says he will do it on his own, that he will stop using on his own, to stop sectioning him, what should she as a parent do?
Well, that's a difficult situation. And again, I think we all have a different reaction to that as parents. But I would definitely suggest reaching out to one of us to talk personally, to have a phone conversation, maybe even have one of the recovery coaches speak with you. Yeah,
or speak with your son if he's, willing to do that. And I think that's great. Thank you so much for commenting. This is what we need. We want you to reach out. We want to try to help you. Like we keep saying, it's a family disease. And, there are I don't know if you're familiar with Learn to Cope, but please, Lori, we will, if you want us to reach out to you, maybe we should do that as well. One of us will reach out to you if that's okay. Rat Park, Debbie, it's a study about rats, which I hate them more than anything, that when rats were isolated and given heroin water, they kept going to the heroin water.
They were given plain water
Yeah.
and heroin water or cocaine water.
Yeah,
We've
whatever.
seen this in science
Yes.
over the years, and the rat would keep going and drinking from the
Right.
one with the drug.
Right.
And then they took it a step further and took these rats and put them in a community
Like
with
a little
activities.
rat
Ratlands
rat
with
park.
toys and other rats.
Yeah.
And they didn't go for the heroin or coke water anymore.
Right. Exactly.
It was
They
really
went to
interesting.
it's really interesting.
Yeah.
You help with supporting families. So we're here to help anyone. So if there's a family member that, has someone, we can talk to them. Any of us can talk to the family member and just kind of guide them in the right direction and get them connected with resources, even if it's just talking with some of us, about what to do and the best way. And that's why we keep saying we're here to help anyone. We really are.
It really is a family disease. And
yeah, absolutely.
help.
Absolutely. It's a family disease. Like it just is. And you need support, especially when you have a loved one who's struggling. And then especially because you're trying to do whatever you can, but the person also has to want it. So it's not anyone's, Lori, we will reach out to you. Okay. We will definitely have someone reach out to you as soon as possible. There's a couple girls on Debbie or Julie or someone will reach out and kind of connect with you about the supports for family.
It's a helpless feeling when you're a family member watching somebody that you care deeply about struggling.
Yeah.
And I think, we know a lot about that.
Yeah. And we've been through it and that's the worst thing because but if love could save someone from this disease, everyone who had overdosed from this disease would be alive. If love could save my friend Mike,
so true.
he would still be alive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a disease, and this just shows us no one wants that. Like no one wants to overdose and end up in the hospital. No one. Lori, perfect. Julie messaged you. This is perfect, and this is exactly what we are trying to do. We're trying to help anyone we can with support. Right now, helping a mom with support. That's what we are all about, and it's free. There's no charges.
Veronica says, "You go, Lori. Sounds like they will not let you fall through the cracks."
We will not. We promise you that. So, is there anything else you think that we should mention? Oh, and I also want to apologize. Last week, for some reason, our Facebook Live video, I don't know, it disappeared. It was there and it was gone. Technology, this stuff sometimes happens. I don't know why. I try to fix it. I try to look up Facebook, like how do you find a Facebook Live video? And it says, well, once it's gone, it's gone. So that wasn't really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the internet saves everything. But we apologize for that. Like we said, still working on this, I guess a month later, with the technology of Facebook Live. So hopefully that will not happen. We're going to I talked to Julie and she talked to Debbie about putting these videos also on YouTube, which I'm going to.
Okay.
My son Caden is going to help me with because I have no idea about YouTube. But when I've talked about these videos in different places, some people don't have a Facebook. Right, they don't. For whatever reason, they don't have Facebook because social media can be draining. It can be addictive and it can be toxic. So we're gonna try to figure out that too. And once we have that up, we will let you guys know so that there's another place to watch all the videos collectively.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So we're gonna try to figure that out. My dear son Caden is going to help us with that.
Thank God for kids.
Thank God for kids. Thank God for kids. Right. The fundraiser, we had mentioned it earlier. Sunday, September 13th. And we're gonna figure out getting donations as well to help with that. And we'll talk. So
share that date.
Yeah.
And save the date.
Save the date. Sunday, September 13th. And if no one else has any more questions, no, we will see you next Sunday, hopefully live at 5, because I know how everyone likes the rhyming. It helps me remember it. And thank you, Linda. How do you feel?
I feel good.
It's good, right? It's just me and you having a conversation.
That's right.
I'm me, and I'm gonna make it easy, hopefully easy for you.
You are so easy.
Okay, we're just having a conversation with the people that are hopefully watching us and supporting this video. So thank you all again. Greater Waltham Recovery Solutions volunteers. I know Pat and Denise had reached out to me. We're gonna definitely need volunteers for our event. Just even help setting up and whatever we need.
Whatever time you can give will be much appreciated. Yeah. And useful for
Yeah.
a very worthy cause.
And at our you're right. And at our next meeting, we're going to kind of figure out what we're going to do with anyone who wants to volunteer.
Great.
And help us out.
And remember, reality is we do need donations to keep this program growing. So share that with those that you know.
Yes, if need help, any help. Tanya, I know. Thank you. I wonder, so Tanya's actually on the other side of this wall. It's my sister.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if she can hear us through the wall. But yeah, any help. We're gonna sit down and kind of, it's
going to be a 10 to 4. 10 a.m.
Okay.
to 4 p.m. on the Waltham Common on September 13th.
Okay.
So keep that date and time in mind. And then Veronica wants to know how the fundraiser is working.
Yep. So that it could be more stuff I think that Julie and Debbie could answer, but it's just we're trying to raise money so that we have funds to help people get into treatment and help people get into sober living. Did someone else ask something?
Debbie's saying there are people asking questions.
Love my location. There are people asking questions. Where I know, I think it's hard too because when people comment, they don't realize that we already see it. And then it how is the fundraiser working? So the fundraiser is going to work that we're going to hopefully get funds to just help people.
Yeah, so we'll have an event held on the Waltham Common on that day.
Sunday, September 13th. Be there or be square. Let's see. Is there anyone else? Fundraiser. Lori, Julie already messaged her, and that's how it works. Like someone reaches out, have them contact one of us. Yeah. So, okay. Is there anyone else that has any questions for us? Let's see. See, you did great.
Did we miss anyone?
I don't think so. You go, Laura. Yeah. No, there's no. Oh, new comment. For volunteers. Yep, so just contact us for volunteers. I know Tanya, I know Pat had reached out. Linda, a different Linda had reached out who I'm friends with. And so we'll go, I think we'll talk about it at the next meeting. Sale booths? No, we'll have resource tables at the event. Normally there's speaker, there's resource tables. They have all sorts of stuff, face painting, bouncy house, stuff for kids. It's a family event. It's right in the Waltham Commons. So we need vendors, I guess. So we need vendors. So anything about that kind of stuff, just reach out to us. I'm really not familiar with what we need in terms of the fundraiser. So, but if anyone, stuff like that, vendors and stuff like that, just reach out to Debbie or Julie or the page, Greater Waltham Recovery Solutions page.
And I imagine that we're going to have more information next week to share on the fundraising
event?
Yes,
I'm sure we will, either next week or after our meeting. We're going to probably talk about that. That's so we're all meeting, and then we'll have more information about all of that. Is there any other questions? Again, if anyone has any comments, suggestions, just you can either comment on this video after it's not live anymore. I'm going to make sure that it saves. I'm going to try to save it like on my own Facebook so that nothing happens to it. Just comment, message us. We have vendors to sell their products that are sales with, right. They always have like jewelry and stuff like that. Have you been to the event?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God, it's an awesome event. It really is. I normally bring my kids.
I've seen it on published, and I've read about it after.
It's a really great event. So again, anyone with any questions, just reach out to us, comment on this video, whatever you want to do. And thank you guys for watching us. I really do appreciate it, and all your feedback and support. It's how this is going to grow, and it's how we're really gonna help save lives and save people. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Happy Sunday. It's so sad about Kobe Bryant too.
Oh, I know.
Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. That's
Tragic.
like it's crazy. 41 years old.
Was there children involved?
No, he wasn't. He has like 4 daughters.
Okay, somewhere I read his kids were there, and some said they weren't. So
it's just sad.
It is.
It's just really sad. Again, happy Sunday, everybody. See you next week.
Thank you. Come back.
Okay, if you end this video, you'll be able to choose